It
He
just
was like,
slipped through his fingers.
he was like,
It's held onto my ears. It just, and then my ears are small, so he's just full palming me.
Goop and Cat.
It's so hard, baby, to play nice, baby, to be so cool.
Welcome to the Gooped and Gagged podcast series. Come and escape and unwind with us. A life coach, me, Pilar, and fashion coach,
Vanessa.
as we react to the happenings on Beyonce's internet. In this episode, we're going to experience an amalgamation of internet things because we all need a break from our day-to-day crazy, and this Mercury Gatorade finally freaking ending. But it's been in Virgo, and honestly, I'm so fucking tired.
Yeah, Mercury's in Gatorade.
I love it. Ends on the 28th, but
The shadow period.
see, I love retrogrades. Also, I was born when there were like 6 planets in retrograde, so I've like made my peace, and I can see the benefit through the fire. But it's something about the Virgo, like it's great. I've been super like, okay, going back and reorganizing, going back and like getting rid of old things. I've been planning for the rest of the year. Like, you know, I've been prioritizing projects and doing all my things, right? But like, I'm tired. I'm tired. Like I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. I'm hanging clothes. Like, somebody give me a break.
Oh, that's wild. All right, we're good. No more fans flying in my face. Hit it.
You know, you have also, by the way, you know, you have the best relationship, or like the fact that Sark and I talk about this all the time. We're like, can you believe it that there are people who have been married with each other for years and they don't fart in front of each other?
Let me tell you something right now. I've known him since 2010. And it wasn't until like 2017 where actually, yes, my butthole would just shut down. It's like I was using the bathroom, I'd like lock the door and turn the water on.
Oh my God, that's so long.
Yes, he even saw me shit myself when I gave birth to Sophia.
And that was before.
And that was 2014. And once he saw me shit myself, it should have been like, you know.
Yeah, like you've seen it all.
You've seen it all at this point. But no, it's still like, it was so weird. I have like gas, but it's like my butthole, like involuntarily just would not release the air.
Like, nope.
It's like, I guess it said it's not very mindful or demure. It's not cutesy.
It's not cutesy. Okay, where is this coming from? The more cute.
Oh, so it started with an influencer like on TikTok.
Okay.
And I think they're a transgendered woman.
Uh-huh.
And they're just like very mindful, very demure, very cutesy or whatever. And I guess my anus has been on that trend because it would not. And I was like, I'm gonna let it happen. But I feel like maybe subconsciously it wouldn't. And then I'm like, you know what?
You're like, fuck it.
I put my butt cheeks down. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not living in shame. I'm not hiding.
Cause it hurts. Also, hold on. When would he fart in front of you?
He doesn't care. I would say he let it rip
all the time.
I mean, like he has some decorum. But I would say like a few months in. You know what I mean? Like
one. Okay.
Yeah, and he was like, he knows that
a few months. That's very.
I'm like, it's okay,
especially compared to.
I let him. I'm like, it's okay. We can be yourself around there. Let it out.
But it's not okay for you to be.
I just couldn't. I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like,
yeah.
I mean, like,
it didn't feel right.
You see me shit myself on a delivery room table. Like, he was like, oh, was that her head? They were like, no. Wrapped it up. He was like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, mid-push. I'm like, They're like, yeah, but it's okay. And she's the only one I've done that with. So far. Because when I went into labor 2 hours after I ate the biggest meal of my life.
Yes, I remember.
I feel like she set me up.
She set you up.
She knew she was coming. You know, normally you lose your appetite.
She's like, you will be humbled.
Taurus energy, greedy ass. And she's like, I'm gonna eat this food, baby. This is my last meal in here. So I'm gonna be on some, breast milk. I want to taste something good. And I ate this big old meal.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
And when my water broke, I was like, oh no. I already knew what time it was. I'm like, I'm gonna shit myself. That's the first thing they said. I said, I'm gonna shit myself. And then after my water broke, I felt like the cramping, like almost instantly. And I was afraid to, even push at home.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am clenching. Thank God I had practice and
clenching everything.
I didn't release anything in front of him anyway. So I'm like clenching. I mean, like literally like a mental suture on my asshole. It was not open on the way to the hospital. I swear to, as soon as I got to the hospital, I like broke ass I'm like, get out of my way. And I ran to the bathroom. It was coming out of both ends. Okay.
Oh my God.
And
which is, there is something to be said about like completely shitting yourself. Obviously not on yourself, but like when it's coming out everywhere, there's such a release. Is messy, is nasty, it's whatever it is, it don't smell good, but there's something like so foundationally human and comforting about the fact you can just empty yourself out.
It was intense. It felt like I was having a colonic. Like, I'm so happy I waited. I got to the restroom and I'm like, no, don't. I'm like, you don't want to come in here.
Don't come in.
I was like, God, it was like otherworldly. I don't know.
I'm giving birth to the Antichrist first.
Yes. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is that unholy smell? He was like, oh my God. And my mom was there. She was like, oh my gosh. It was like, what the fuck? Like, what did you eat? I'm like, we ate the same thing. It was a crime scene in there. And then
oh my God.
When I was about to get up and go to the restroom, this went on for a few hours, They're like, oh, nope, it's time to push. Because as soon as I got up, that's when her head had dropped. Eventually, after being there for a while, and I went to go to the restroom.
They're like, no.
My mom said, nope, too late for that. And she pushed me because as soon as I stood up, her head dropped. Like, yeah. So I'm like, oh man, I'm really gonna. There's no way I could keep a lid on that and push at the same time because the same pushing mechanism. I'm like, yep. I was like, I just shit myself on this table.
But let me tell you, them nurses, they are professional.
Yeah, they didn't even care. They wrap it up and like,
not like that. They're like, it's like a pit stop in F1. Like they're so like,
yes. And I swear I apologized to them after. I'm like, I'm so sorry you had to smell that because I smell what was happening. Like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, is it though?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Been there. No, let's see. I shit just a little bit with Rafa.
I shit just a little bit.
Just a little bit. They're just nuggets.
You like
some nuggets? Yeah, just some cute. Where it was like, yeah, like they could just grab it, like, woo, throw it away.
Like a little rabbit, a little hamster, So.
Yeah. And then with Athena, I like fully shit myself.
Oh, you like shit the bed?
Yeah, because I took what is it called?
Castor oil?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I took castor oil. I didn't know.
Oh, there was no grip left in those intestines. You just greased them right on up. Like no
grip. Not know.
No grip. Your intestines were just like it just smoothed out like completely. Like there was no.
It was like they were ready.
Yeah,
to paint the town brown.
You look at yourself. Like
yeah. And I was just like, I'm so sorry the whole time. I'm so sorry. They're like, it's okay, sweetie. It's okay. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's like,
you're like, it's not
okay. And then with Iskra, I actually can't remember if I shit myself. I'm pretty sure I did.
Deleted your memory. She removed your memory.
When in doubt, just assume you should.
She's an operative. She removed your memories of that day.
She did.
You don't even remember. Do you even know her birthday anymore?
Oh my God. And so actually it took me forever to remember. I told you that, right? It took me because she was literally born at 12, like 32 or whatever a.m. So I kept thinking the 27th. Let me tell you, we're going for her appointments. I'd be like 11:27. They're like,
You like, are you sure?
What's her last name?
What's her last name?
Yeah.
You like
girlfriend and sister?
Yeah.
And then they're like 11:28.
Like 20.
Yes.
Like, we gotta make sure we have the right child. The right.
Like, I swear, I gave birth to her.
She
it's not enough that she looks like
she looks nothing like you. They're like, whose baby is this? First of all, like, whose baby is this?
First of all, oh my God.
Yeah, make sure you get the birthday together. They're really gonna look at you like,
for real.
Like,
yes. Right.
Like, but yeah, she deleted your memories of that event, that day. She did what she could. That's why you can't remember her birthday.
Is it pretty?
All a ploy.
Yeah, it was all a ploy. It was
I'm telling you, she's an operative.
Yeah.
Right. So what are we chatting about today?
Ooh! As your host for the hour, we just want to thank you for listening and taking the time to hang out with us. If you haven't already, don't forget to follow us and share with your friends because we all need a chance to express our thoughts, feelings, and questions.
Okay, so here it is. I have a serious issue. I feel I'm a low-value woman and I desperately want to change. I'm in my 30s now, but in my younger life, I was in prostitution countless times. And now I feel, as a result, I have a sex addiction because I cannot stop having sex or looking for men's sexual attention and gratification. At this point, I'd really like to enter into a long-term relationship, even marriage, but I'm not sure if I can sleep with just one man for the rest of my life. I'm a hoe. I feel like jam.
I love the self-proclamation.
I'm a hoe. It's like it's a core because you get paid for your services. Okay, hoes give it away for free, so it's okay. If you're gonna be one, at least you don't have something to show for it, like my grandma used to say. I feel like I'm for the streets, but that's not where I want to be. How do I get out of this phase and into the stage of being no longer polygamous and being a sex worker? I've been out of prostitution for about 6 years now. I haven't had steady therapy because it is costly, but I do see someone and I started seeing a counselor about 6 months ago. What do you think my focus should be? And, what does that look like for anyone who's had some experience with that?
Okay.
Any words of wisdom?
You want to go first?
No. I can go first and give my brash opinion or whatever comes to mind. I'll let you go.
I'll let you go first. Okay. First of all, there's no shame in being a sex worker. No shame. It's the oldest profession.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it is recession proof.
It's recession proof.
Listen, these bills, the way they have it set up, baby. I told my husband, I'm like,
let's not take it off the table.
Put the pussy on the table. No, it's hard.
Exactly. So, and I've had friends who've been sex workers. Okay. I've seen my friends when they're in the middle of a transaction or whatever.
Like in the middle of the transaction?
Not in the middle of it, I should say, in the pre-transaction.
Oh, I'm like, damn. Like, okay.
I and this one I was really, really young. Really, really young. I mean, I was like 14, 15, and I had these friends who, yeah. I mean, I've been around some wild people, and what a phrase that this girl, she was screaming, she was ready to fight this other girl, and they really were girls, but to that point, but she said, you know what, if you're old enough to fuck, you're old enough to fight. But they were like 14. I was like, girl, what you I mean, fair. Yeah. But that always stuck with me. I was like, wow, that's very wise. Like, okay, all right.
I never thought about it that way.
I never thought about it that way. Old enough to fuck, you're old enough to fight. Yeah, okay. But yeah, so I mean, so this idea of like sex workers and everything, for me personally, is not an outlandish thing.
Mhm.
And I think that being a sex worker, it's easy to feel judged. It's easy because obviously it's a very, it can create a lot of strong feelings in people, a lot of strong opinions. I love that she is, seeking out therapy. I love that she's seeking out
Yeah.
counseling. That's huge. I mean, we need that, period. But if you do that when you're young, you're doing it out of necessity. There's a lot of it's in most places it's not regulated. So it's
Right.
very, so it happening is usually out of, you know, um,
Need, like
necessity.
and I feel like it depends, like you said, it depends on why someone begins to engage. Is it voluntary? Because you have some people like, you know what? I'm just gonna go get paid. And then once
and they're
don't
of age, they're over
they're okay
18,
with it.
and
They like,
they
I'm just doing this for money. Like, I don't care. I don't need therapy. And you know what I mean? But then you have some people who do it because that's all they can do to, to maybe provide for their families. Were they sex trafficked? Are they
Exactly.
victims of abuse? Things like that.
And that's what I was gonna say exactly, is like, it if you get started in it because you were originally a victim of abuse in some way, and you get started when you're younger, and it looks like, I mean, she says she did it in her 20s, okay?
Right.
If I understood that correctly, right, in her 20s.
Right. That's what she said. But I mean, who knows, what her childhood may have been like, which may have led her with hypersexualization, or we don't know the full story, but it's a lot to unpack and it's so multifaceted. But with people in these situations, like, it's hard to say don't let it define your self-worth, especially if it's maybe something that you were so adamantly against but you had no choice but to do it. But hopefully therapy helps and you can unlearn the behaviors, and don't have to actually see your worth through sex.
Yeah.
For folks like that, like, women, even men, I feel like abstinence, may be best for them just because they feel like their worth is tied directly to sex. Right. And when you feel that way, it's like maybe abstain some. And just,
listen to yourself. Listen to
yourself, right?
Yourself, and listen to like all the information that's coming through. I'm a big fan of like healing in action. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just about doing the pre-work. It's also about letting yourself go through the journey of healing and like where that takes you. Because, like sometimes, for instance, for me, like I remember when I was, quote, ready, I still started dating and I still was seeing people and I was still doing that. But while I knew I was in transition, and I think that it's okay to be in transition. Life is a transition. I think it's okay to discover your self-awareness through the act of, right? And it's because it happens. And I think that you have to be in a place of forgiveness for yourself.
Exactly.
And because sometimes you might meet somebody and it's through that act of meeting somebody and you go, oh, this isn't it. Or you might go, you know what, it's not it, but like, I do kind of like him, and I, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still working this out. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Be safe, be good, but then afterwards, like, reassess, like, was that worth it? And I think that that's kind of, that's the healing in action, right? Is like being constantly in that place of like, what do I feel like is best for me right now?
Right, like self-reflecting every time.
And what is reasonable for me right now? Yeah, because for some people, being completely celibate, it's not realistic. You know what I mean? Like, that just might be part of their not love language. That's just part of their expression. It's the same thing like polygamy. For some people that's wrong, but like for other people, like that's just a natural way of expressing themselves and their personality. So I think that as long as she's in a place of like reflecting, being real with herself about what works for her, how something makes her feel, like if something really does make you feel less worthwhile to someone, right? Like reflect on that feeling, like sit in that feeling for a little bit. You know what I mean? Because that's the only thing that's going to keep you the next time from hesitating a little longer before engaging. And it wasn't until me personally, like, I had a couple of interactions, even though I was saying like, oh, like I want something more serious. There was a couple guys I was dating, and it was after like seeing one guy, and I was like, I'm tired of this feeling, like it being late and me needing to like scramble off to home with like to go take care of my kid, and like there's just all this rushing around, and I was like, and he really wasn't worth it. Like that was not that worth it of a session. I mean, like that wasn't it, you know? And that's and it was like, you know, you have to have those moments though. It can't be theoretical for you. You have to be in that place of self-awareness while you're in it to be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm saturated. That's it. I'm done. You know?
No pun intended.
Literally, I'm done. And lo and behold, I met my husband like 6 months after that. Oh, you know,
and then you were saturated,
and I was like, yeah, and I was. That's a whole other story, but I'm just saying. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, being self-aware for sure, and you know, we said everyone is different. In this young lady's case, you know, keep seeking the therapy. You know, that's what I think is very helpful and beneficial. Even if celibacy is something maybe that you're just not comfortable with, like, or you just, not saying you can't do, but you don't want to do, or maybe feel like you don't need to do, that's fine too. You can also just be more selective about who you choose to lay with and who you choose to let have that access to you. Because when you start realizing that you're giving them access, your sense of self-worth kind of, you know, it elevates. Like, I'm the prize. I'm allowing you access to me. What did you do to actually attain this access? Well, don't pay me. That sounded weird.
I mean, it's similar. Well,
but you know what I mean? Like,
to being a process. I mean, we're all sex workers. We're all workers in some way. Maybe it's not sex that we're exchanging, but we are putting a price on our value, either through the attention that we give, either through the, you know, what kind of love we give, what kind of, you know, anything, right?
Are they worthy of receiving this affection, this love, this access to you? Like, what
the quality of your attention?
Exactly. Like, what is it? Like, are they giving you that attention? Are they being that just a good person, and the person that you're interested in, or the type of person, I should say. So just be selective on who you allow to have access to you, especially in intimate ways, because, you know, with women, we're different than men normally. I mean, we do have women that can just, you know, have casual encounters. For sure. No shame in that. But a lot of women, if they do engage in sex, you know, with someone, it's because of an emotional connection.
It's higher risk for us.
It's higher risk for women.
Evolutionarily speaking, we see sex as a lot more of a higher investment because we could come out being pregnant. We could come out getting killed. We could come out, you know, there's all these things that are not.
Brad can't take on stick and leave. You know what I mean? Like, Pocket is left with feelings and emotions, you know, most times. And it's like, we have to be very cognizant of that. So, exactly. That's what I about that. But I hope she finds her healing, and it sounds like it may be some childhood issues or something stemming from that. Yeah. Because, I mean, there's a lot of sex workers out there, and they're like, now I'm good. You know what I mean? They move on, they get married. Some are porn stars, and they're like,
literally, like, I was just thinking of that.
They're literally porn stars, but I feel like it's something else that's there with this woman. That's
I mean, even the fact that she called herself a low value woman, like, I feel like that's also like she's already trying to disarm and be like, I know I'm low value, because people in her life have probably told her, like, you know, like, that's nasty, you're this, have made her like almost like trying to convince her that she's a low value woman. And so in order to almost avoid the conflict, you we diffuse by going, I know I'm a low value woman.
Right. Like, I know what I am, that kind of thing. And
exactly. But you don't have to do that. And if there's people in your life who aren't willing to like support you in your healing process when you're clearly already committing to it.
Right.
I mean,
fuck them too.
Exactly.
Fuck you for free.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Like, that kind of thing. But, I hope she finds peace.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And she deserves love. She deserves.
Yeah, like, you're worthy of it. Like, people love to judge, but they really don't know. Like,
really don't
the
know.
circumstance of a lot of people's situation. And depending on, culturally, like where you live, just a whole bunch of things. Like here in the US, I feel it's definitely more frowned upon. And they're like, oh, we don't have to do that here to make money. But like, actually, well, there's sex trafficking, which is huge here.
Yes.
But besides that, it's like, no, there are people who really don't have like a choice. Like, these young girls who are trying to support their family or, they run away from a horrible life at home. And then what are they going to do? You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure.
For sure. So I just hope
it is very possible. I mean, especially in this climate, I feel like, yes, 10, 20 years ago, there's a lot more, there was a lot more tradition. And I think just by virtue of like the internet, virtue of like, information and people sharing their stories and
right. Because people didn't know like sex trafficking. What's that? Like it's been happening, but now with
the fact that like it's possible to turn your life around or it's possible to, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there's just generally more compassion in the world than there used to be and is more like, breadth of possibilities, that sense of like, even like, I mean, just look at like polygamy and
it's more acceptance.
It's,
what I mean? It's definitely more acceptance. It's not as taboo. And I feel like Pretty Woman walked so everyone else could run. You know what?
Well, it's funny because actually our next one is about pretty women. Shall I read it?
I'm telling you. I didn't set this up. It's just, I'm going to go play Lotto tonight, people. It just happened that way.
Lotto tonight.
Hit it.
All right. I'm going to read this. Now, what's funny is I haven't read the whole thing.
Okay.
And because I wanted to wait until this moment to read it. So there was a picture, but I don't think that's really necessary because the words kind of speak for themselves. Okay. So do pretty women have to vet men harder and have higher standards than average looking women? ? I know it sounds like a champagne problem, but I feel like being pretty attracts so many men that we need to filter a bigger pool of them because a lot of men will shoot their shot even though they know they don't have what it takes to be with a beautiful woman. I have been on dates with men who were insecure about my beauty, about the attention I attract, or their insecurities made them think they didn't deserve me. I remember applying for a job. I created a profile to be able to send my application. The recruiter sent me a message. We aren't looking for models. Based on my profile picture, it frustrated me so much. And then there are annoying questions. Why is a woman like you still single? There must be something off, which adds a little self-doubt. Thoughts? Another question. Am I the only one noticing that some people feel entitled to comment on how I decide to show up? I often have people telling me, I prefer you with your hair natural, or thicker eyebrows, or in this dress, or whatever they don't like about me, they'll tell me. And I am thinking that I decided to show up like that for me, not to please anyone. It annoys me because, again, it's about my beauty and it's mine, not anyone else's. And I do whatever I want with it. Woo, go off.
I prefer you this. I prefer you that. I shut the fuck up. How about that?
How about that?
But, she probably doesn't want to. She's thinking it. But, she's trying to be very demure. Very demure, right? So there's a way to say that. It's not quite such a context, but that's what we're thinking. Like, people love to impose their opinions on others. And she's right. And especially if someone is very attractive, whether it be male or female, people who are jealous or insecure will try to find ways to bring them down, to humble them, so to speak, to, knock them down a notch, where they need to worry about fixing their damn hair because it doesn't look good how it looks right now.
And
So
you're
why don't you
100%
take that
right.
right, like take the energy and put it on you. Don't come here with that, because I didn't call for you. I didn't send for you. But now I'm going to come for you. It's like you tried it. And then you tried it. And now you're about to get it. Like, people think they're eating with these comments, but they just look like idiots. And, I see it all the time. Like, well, now I'm home and I don't like being around, general people and outside with the masses breathing all my air. But, you'll see it all the time, like, women, like men or whatever, catcalling women that are really attractive. Like, sir, you were hanging outside in the corner and you have no teeth in your mouth. Why are you trying to talk to this woman? And then you're getting mad when she doesn't want to speak to you. Like, sir, Gummy, Mr. Gums. Like, sir, your crack pipe is hanging out your pocket. Or like, why are you not at work right now? Why are you frequenting this establishment?
Why is it a Wednesday afternoon and you're hanging out on a long chair?
Right. Or a lawn chair, which I've seen, or a milk crate, and thinking this gorgeous specimen is who has it going on. It can literally have anyone she wants, would waste her time and her vagina on you. Mm-hmm. Like, let's be for real, and it is true. It does happen. And when people, men or women, if they're attractive and they happen to be single, they're like, oh, why are you still single? You must be a problem. And you're like, yeah, I do have a problem. Maybe my standards, I don't want to lower my standards for mediocrity. And there's nothing wrong with that. And again, you do have people that seek really attractive people out, and then they get into these relationships with them, and you hear it time and time again. They want to break them down, you know what I mean? To humble them and knock them down a notch. And then you hear these people saying, oh, I'm finally out this relationship and I'm gaining my self-esteem back. And you see them and they're just like good looking people. Stunning. You're like, stunning. And like someone came into their life that they allowed because I guess they didn't vet enough and gave them too much control and access to them emotionally and mentally. Mm-hmm. And they broke them down because of their own insecurities. So to her, I say, yes, bet harder. Don't lower your standards and look cute. Just because I want to look like a basic ass bitch and you do, it's not my concern. I'm just putting it out there, just like strict like that. Oh, you didn't have to wear that. Neither did you. Keep that energy for yourself, not for me. Thanks.
It's so interesting because I have lots of thoughts and feelings about this. and
thoughts. Give me the feeling. Give me the thought.
Oh my God. There's a lot of different, there's like my personal experience with this. And then there's just like my, like, just as what I would say to this woman as a general and to women in general. Right. And women in general, I'm going to say, and this is something I tell my daughter too, because Athena, she'll be like, Mommy, I want to look beautiful today. And we're still in this thing where I'm like, beautiful is what you are. Okay. Right. Fabulous is what you want to be. Okay. Like you want to like go there. Okay. Be fabulous. Like you want to dress up. You want to do your hair. Like, that's you want to be fabulous.
Overdressed or overeducated. Yeah. Right. That's it.
But beautiful you already are. And that's something that, beauty has so many different expressions or, our sense of who we are and all of this, that you should always feel beautiful. You should always feel that you are in a place to set standards, period.
I like that.
Period. You are always in a place to set standards. And this woman, she's a perfect example of someone who I feel like she has had standards and she gets this blowback for it, which is so ridiculous because, and you hit the nail on the head. It's like people will treat others through the filter of their own problems.
Exactly.
And if people are telling her like, oh, what's wrong with you? It's like, maybe you need to look at yourself. Because clearly I don't have a problem with myself, but you do. Like that has nothing to do with me.
And the job, like, good thing the recruiter whoever said that immediately. You don't want to work there.
You don't want to work there. It's almost like thank you. In those situations, I say thank you. When people show that they're a part of themselves, where it's like, oop, wrong dimension. Like I go thank you because I didn't need that. So I'm glad I
didn't need that. Like, so I can be educated and physically appear to be a gorgeous person.
Yeah,
Like,
totally. And
you
I
know,
feel like I have a feeling I can tell what her picture probably looked like. They were probably really well done, and she probably knows how to look good. So she probably looked like she was, posing. She was getting her best side. She was getting her best
okay,
light, everything.
like all that good
And
headshots,
they try to
like,
come at her like, oh, we're not looking for models. Like, you're trying too
oh, are
hard.
you hiring ogres? Like, so you're punishing me for being attractive? Like,
Literally.
I'm like,
That's
would you tell your mom the same thing? Probably not.
exactly. I mean, these people, they just, like, be nicer. Just be
Right?
nicer. Like, instead, like, if a mean thought comes into your head, just ask yourself, like, is this for me or is this for them?
Or your mother.
Yeah, is this for?
Your
Would
ugly
you
ass
say this
mom.
to your mother? How
Probably
would you
not.
feel if
Because she's
somebody
ugly.
said this to your mother?
They probably wouldn't because she's ugly.
Vanessa said, "Don't come now."
Because she's ugly. But in all seriousness,
Yeah.
like, when I see someone that's like beautiful, it's like, wow, they're so pretty. My first thought is, I'm like, what skincare does she use?
I was literally gonna say it.
You
Like,
know, it's like I need to take notes because
I want to know, like, is that like your
the
complexion?
situation,
Like, is that
how does-
natural complexion? Is
right?
that
Like, I need to know. Like,
is it a serum you're using? Like, what is
right?
that?
Like, are we using like drunk elephant, like bronzing drops? What serum is that? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, and if it's a surgeon, I'm all for that too. Like, what is their
Yeah,
name?
like, who are they?
Who are they? Where are they?
Where are they?
Are they accepting new clients? Like,
Totally.
I need to know. You know, when I
need to
see
know.
those people, I'm like, wow. Like, when they look good, 'cause I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I see another woman, I'm like, ooh, like,
Mhm.
okay, like she ate that down. That outfit is cute.
100%.
That's like if someone compliments my outfit, I'm like, oh, thank you. And if I see they really like it, I'll tell them, where I got it from, or little things like that. Like, oh, your skin looks great. You're glowing.
It's exciting. Totally.
I'm like, oh, it's the serum. Like, thanks, Sephora. You know what I mean? It's like,
exactly. When I get on camera sometimes and I'm like having a meeting and they're like, "Oh my God, you look so good." I'll be like, "It's the lighting."
I'm like, okay, I tend to deflect. That's my thing. I'm like when I went to the a doctor's appointment, like, oh, okay, like, you feel like I feel like a whale. Honestly, like I'm a potato on stilts, I have my heels on. And like, you're glowing. I'm like, it's the Sunday Riley UFO oil. Like, no, it's really glowing. I'm like, baby, I promise you, it's the Anastasia blush and the Fenty bronzer highlighter. I promise you. Like, I look like a Victorian child trying to survive the winter in my mind. Like, who has the fever? Like, oh, Vanessa has the fever. Do you
I
think
remember
she'll make it spring?
when we first started talking to each other, you would never get on camera.
Never.
Absolutely not. And you always, I look like a dying Victoria, a sick Victoria.
Like, I'm a sick Victorian child and it's the winter time. Pray for me, Mama. As we only had a few bread and the scraps of cheese and the famine is setting in. And I don't know if I'll make it to see another warm spring.
It's hilarious.
So even when I feel like at my worst, though, when I see someone looking good, it's like, oh, let me get my stuff together because you too can do it. You know what I mean? It's like, don't be a hater.
Yeah, 100%. I also want to give the other side of it, which is, and the other side of like the reasoning why you shouldn't, get on someone's case for being beautiful, which is like, oh, like, why are we even saying that? But
right.
For me personally, and this comes from my personal experience, and that's that I have had a long history of really struggling with my femininity, struggling with my beauty. It attracted a lot of bad attention when I was little, and it wasn't the kind of attention that you want children getting. You know what I mean?
Right.
It would be the classic, oh, you're so mature for your age, or you're so beautiful. And it didn't resonate as like positive
The
comments.
Art Kellys were coming out.
Yeah, it's so
trying to groom you.
Exactly. So I went through many, many, many years and decades of just like really hiding my femininity. So
that happens a lot.
Only when I
so they don't feel seen. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And it was only until, the last like 5-10 years, more like 5 years, 3 years, that I really started like embracing, I would even, when I had long hair, I was at a job and I would always have it in a bun, in a messy bun and whatever. Yeah, moñito. And I remember I was at lunch with my boss at the time, and I was putting it down so that I could reach. Yeah. And he, no joke, he looked at me and he said, "Don't you know what you do to men when you have your hair down?" And it was, as a woman who is, for the majority of my life, worked in male dominated industries, you learn to grow a thick skin, and you learn to deflect while dimming yourself.
Larry, I don't even know if that was his name. You and that fucking baby carrot that you have in your pants can do nothing for me. Okay?
So when I tell you that I reclaim myself, my femininity, and I know it's just like, even in, I've had to go through so many evolutions of what does femininity mean to me. And, even with my husband, who has never like over sexualized me like that, has never, you know what I mean? It's always been very like mental first, and then, an appreciation. And then that, you know what I mean? Especially when you're talking about people who have that kind of trauma growing up, you see someone who is full out like embracing their femininity. To me, I'm like, you don't know if it took them their whole life to get there.
Right. You don't know me from a hole in the wall. Like, you literally
exactly. Like, you don't know me. Like, you don't know me. You don't know me.
Back like that. You don't want to know me.
And you don't want to know me. So don't try me.
Again. Like, see, these people have you fucked up. Like, you got fucked up. See, like, you're trying to be like cutesy, demure, but then you want to turn to Tyler Perry, with a fucking frying pan. Like, see, now you're trying me, and I'm gonna have to show you better than I can.
Exactly. So just let me live my life.
Let me live my life. Let them be beautiful.
Let them be beautiful. And I will say, I'll go back to it. Absolutely. Have standards always. But yes, if you do present yourself with confidence and with that added, like, I'm embracing the best version of me already, like, and you're coming out and you're just on that extra vitamin of glamour, like, absolutely. Like, your standards should be high. Like, do what works for you, and fuck the haters.
Fuck them, right? Like, I don't need that stink coochie energy coming over here messing with my vibes. So,
yes. So work, mama, work.
Go balance your pH, mind your business, and mind a business that pays you. Okay?
Oh my God. Bye-bye.
Fix your pH and get out my face.
That's so funny. I love it. Okay, hold on. We have one. So we have two more, but we can do this. Well, I want you to go off on the next one. This is for you.
Oh.
And that's the Black women harsh truth.
Oh.
I want you to get on your soapbox here. Yeah. Do you want me to read it or you read it?
You want my reaction? Like my reaction to it, or let's see.
Well, whatever, like, because there's like comments too.
Okay. Right, I forgot about that comment. I see she's not a group anymore.
I know. Someone got kicked out.
Stop sign with the flash.
So
because the person who made the post, she's the owner of the group.
Who? Oh, Shanika?
Yes.
Nice.
She said, I said,
she said, you don't know me.
Like, now you found out. I think she removed herself because she wanted to add her, but maybe she's gone now. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll read it because I'm Black, so I guess it's
so I'm Black.
It sounds better. Right?
Okay.
Right.
Present.
All right.
The floor is, All
right. So I saw this floating around, and it's basically saying, Black women in particular need to stop making themselves too sexually available for men, primarily, for absolutely nothing in return. And we're not talking like, about, having them pay like your bills, like pay for your, your rent, your hair, trivial things like that, but not even loyalty and commitment. You need to value yourself, your body, your time, and energy, more than has actually been going on. And I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of other races, that could say things like that. But when you look at how Black women are depicted, I can see where this post came from. So I feel like Black women are really overly sexualized. And I feel like the culture itself, like, the hip hop culture or what you see in mainstream media exacerbates that. Because a lot of times you just see, these fake inflated asses bent over, shaking it and getting champagne poured on them, or like dealing with these low value fucking men, even if they may have a lot of money, they're still low value. And they're not being respected like we should. So for example, like I said, in rap videos, you'll see it. But if you turn on a country video, for example, you don't see women getting treated in that manner. They don't refer to their women in the same way, and it all just kind of trickles down. So yes, I do agree with that. And that's something I'm actually like instilling in my daughters. Because it's like, no, like don't give people too much access to you so quickly and for nothing in return. And again, I'm not saying, get pimped out and just because they're paying you money and have sex for money and things like that. But what are they showing you to actually warrant this affection that you're giving them, your time, your attention? What are they doing for you that's going to make you want to be intimate with them? Like, what are you getting in return? Like, what is the end game? What is the reward? And even me, like, I'm hyper vigilant now, and it's like I want to make sure I portray myself in a certain light. Like, I won't wear certain things because I'm shaped a certain way. Like, it may look good, on someone who may be thin, not as shapely, in a different race, like a white woman, for example. It won't look the same on her as it looks on me. And I'm really trying to explain that, to Sophia, for instance. Like, how come I can't wear these shorts? I'm like, because your booty meat is hanging out the bottom, and it just no, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's subconscious because they already look at us in that light. Like, they expect us to be scantily clad, wearing, poor fitting clothes, coming out like Sexy Red, and just, she's really the main one. And she's fucking,
I was just gonna say, I was like triggered,
literally a walking STD. But anyway, I digress. Like, like that's what they put out there to the mainstream media. Like, that's all we're good for. That's how we're supposed to convey ourselves. And that's what people expect. And, when you don't, conduct yourself in that way, you don't portray yourself in that way, it's like a shock at first. Like, oh, like, wow, like you're so well spoken, or you're so reserved. Yes, you speak well for a Black person. Plenty of Black people, have heard that one. Like, oh, you speak really good. Wow, you were like, wow, you're not like the other ones. Like, you're not like the rest of them. It's like, oh, okay.
one of the good ones. Yeah, I've gotten them.
Yeah, you're one of the good ones. That's what it is. It's like, thanks. I need that.
Simply is
that
like, thank you. Like, what?
Assuming you meant that in a positive way, whatever. But yeah, like, I feel like a lot of times in the Black community, women like see their bodies essentially as the only thing that they have to offer. And it's sad, and it shouldn't be that way. And I feel like in the Black community, a lot of things come up that may not come up like in other communities or cultures. It's like, why are we even talking about this? You know what I mean? Like,
I think something that a lot of people miss, about the Black community is that slavery was not that long ago.
I mean, and then there's that.
There's a lot of healing that's still happening from that. And if you just think about the generational trauma of feeling physically devalued, literally being seen as, what was it, like a third of a human or something like that? Like,
was it that much?
It was
damn, we got a third?
Yeah, it was in the
it's Constitution, right?
Constitution, exactly. So I think that there's just so much, or 2/3 was a third, or 2/3 is in threes.
Yeah, we can.
Like, all right, we swimming in it now. We swimming in humanity. Exactly. But when you talk about generational trauma, and you have people that think about their generational trauma from like, 7, 8 generations ago. And it's like, you're not talking about very far back when you're thinking about the whole community. Like the last slave literally like died, I don't even know, like 20 years ago? Like it was like in our generation.
It was like, no, he died, I think it was like in the 70s or 60s or 70s or something, but his grandchild or whatever, his relatives are still alive. Like there are people whose relatives essentially were slaves.
Exactly. I'm just looking forward to the day where like people can just look at each other without that
Like
filter, without that trauma.
Right.
Yeah. Like to wear a cute little skirt, right? It can look just cute, and it doesn't have to be a sexual thing. It doesn't have to be something you have to worry about. It shouldn't be something you have to worry about. It can just be like a proportionally cute short skirt with flats and like whatever, your hair done all cute and like, a cute, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to worry about who's going to take advantage of that person, of your daughter, or who's going to take advantage of them, or worry about other people's children. Like,
right.
I
know that when I see these girls, like white, black, whatever it is, and I see them wearing these shorts, I'm just like, I see her booty meat. Like, I see the cuff. Like, I see the cuff underneath. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, pull your shorts. I go into like protective modes. I'm like, the world is
totally. And then I'm like, and you're walking into school like that, where everyone's like walking close to each other, and these teenage boys.
I'm just like, oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Creeps that are just out here, out and about.
You know oh my God. I get so triggered.
And it
doesn't break a chair. I already have a broken couch.
See? It doesn't matter if they're black, white, Spanish. Whenever I see a girl, like, and they just walk around, carefree. I'm like,
I feel like there's cockroaches going all over my body. I'm just
it's like I can feel like it's like a sensation. It's like I'm like, I want to go in and like wrap a shirt around. I'm like, cover your ass up.
Yeah.
I want to be your mom, but cover your ass cheeks. You know what I mean? If Sophia came home or something like that, I'd be like, I don't even want you wearing that in the house. When she's home, like, I'm like, can you just cover your ass cheeks? And my dad is like, I don't want to see that. Like, you need bigger shorts because you don't have less butt. So you
don't have less butt. You got more butt.
Ma'am, why are you wearing shorts that are a size 7? And you are like a size 12. She's like, what? It's covering. I'm like, Sophia, you just might as well wear underwear. They're just underwear with an inseam. But yeah, that's that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
We free the cheeks at home sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, Athena goes full Mowgli.
Oh, yes. That was me when I was younger. As soon as I came home, I would just take my clothes off. Yes, and I still like to be naked now.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to scare my son.
What's nice is like when you have your own house and then there's no one home, or like you can just walking around naked in your own room is like just so liberating.
It is. I'm playing Tiffany. I think we're alone. That's like literally me. Like
the booby swing.
Like let it just hang. That's me.
Well, this was fun.
Oh, yes. We have to get Iska.
Oh, yeah. 118. Oh, it's 118.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Thank you.
You gotta go.
I need to get Athena. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, right. That one.
That one. We want to thank you again for listening. Don't forget to check out our page, goopedandgag.com, for episodes, contact, and partnership opportunities. If you'd like to book a session with Vanessa for all your styling needs, you can book at realenvogue.com/services. That's real, ENVOGUE with the letter V.com/services. And if you'd like to book a session with Pilar, you can learn more at pilarlutfaliva.com. That's Pilar, my first name, PILARLYUTFALIEVA.com. One long time.
That's not like the Mickey Mouse Club. M-I-C.
I literally was thinking. Let's go.
Goop and Cat.
It's so hard, baby. baby, to be so cool. It's so hard.